In a sleepy southern town, tucked between courthouse columns and old oaks dripping with Spanish moss, a seemingly routine municipal court hearing was about to become a moment that would ripple across the country. Mary Jones, 29, was a quiet figure in the community, known more for her devotion to teaching Sunday school and working as a library assistant than for making any kind of public noise. She wasn't the kind of person who stirred controversy. That's why the events of that Wednesday morning caught everyone off guard. She had come to court to contest a minor code violation, overgrown grass in her front yard. But as she stood before Judge Henry Braxton, wearing a soft grey blouse and a delicate silver cross on a necklace, things took an unexpected turn. "Remove it or pay the fine." Judge Braxton was known for being by the book, no nonsense, impatient with what he called displays of personal drama. His gaze narrowed at Mary as she approached the podium. "Miss Jones," he said, tapping his pen, "this is a courtroom. Religious symbols are not permitted when addressing the bench. Remove the cross necklace or I'll issue a contempt citation." The room went silent. A few confused murmurs floated from the benches. Mary looked down at her necklace, then up at the judge. Her voice, while steady, held both grace and defiance. "Your Honor, with all due respect, this cross is not a protest. It's an expression of my faith and part of my daily life." "That's irrelevant in this room," he replied. "Remove it or face the consequences." She didn't budge. Gavel slam. "Contempt of court, $1,000 fine. Next case." A spark ignites. Mary paid the fine on the spot, but not with defeat in her eyes. She walked out of the courthouse with a copy of the citation, a stack of law books in her tote bag, and fire in her heart. What the judge didn't know, and what the community would soon discover, was that Mary had been quietly studying constitutional law online in her spare time. She had no formal legal background, no degree. Just a relentless mind, a powerful sense of justice, and a deep understanding of the First Amendment. She didn't hire a lawyer. She became one. The legal brief that shook the system. 3 weeks later, Mary filed her own motion to vacate the contempt charge, accompanied by a 47-page legal brief that referenced Tinker vs. Des Moines, freedom of expression in public institutions, West Virginia vs. Barnett, compelled speech and religious liberty, Employment Division, Dorfor, Smith, limits of religious freedom and government interest. The language was clean, the citations flawless, the arguments razor-sharp. Word began to spread. Local law professors called her motion graduate level. Journalists picked up the story. Librarian versus judge. Is faith on trial in South Carolina? The judge's clerk brought the brief to Braxton's chambers. He reportedly sat in stunned silence for minutes after reading it, whispering, "Who is this woman?" The courtroom showdown. When the hearing to reconsider the fine was scheduled, the courtroom overflowed. Reporters, law students, pastors, CLU representatives, even a few conservative religious liberty watchdogs. Mary stood calmly in front of the judge, her silver cross still around her neck, this time proudly displayed over her blouse. Judge Braxton leaned forward. "I read your brief, Miss Jones," he said, almost reluctantly. "It's impressive, extremely so." "Thank you, Your Honor," she replied. "I wrote it not just for myself, but for anyone who's ever felt forced to hide who they are, especially in places where justice is supposed to protect them." He paused. "Let's be clear. You embarrassed this court," he said. "But you also reminded it of something it should never forget. The Constitution protects people, not just procedure." He tore up the citation. Contempt charge vacated. Motion granted. The gallery erupted, but that wasn't the end. The story went viral. Within days, Mary was invited to speak at law schools across the country. Harvard Law offered her a full scholarship. Legal aid clinics reached out asking her to work with them, and the American Bar Association granted her an honorary membership before she'd even passed the bar. She declined the spotlight for a while, until she realized her story could help others find their voice too. Mary Jones now runs the Liberty Thread, a non-profit that provides constitutional education and legal resources for individuals facing faith-based discrimination. Her first book, Wearing My Rights, became a bestseller. Ironically, Judge Braxton retired a year later and wrote the foreword to her book, Final Scene. In a viral video filmed 2 years later, Mary stands in the same courtroom where it all began, now wearing a black robe. She's just been sworn in as a judge herself. As she turns to the camera, a glint of silver catches the light. The same little cross resting proudly above her heart. The end